Hello. So we have another session here for the developer course on Python AI. And in the last sessions, let me give you a review first. We have created a simple calculator, and then later on, we developed a game. The game is all about a guessing game wherein the user can input a certain number, and then he would guess the number that is randomly generated by the system. Now, we now proceed to another project here, which is the to-do list manager. Now, this will essentially give us an idea on the concept of list. What is a list? It's essentially, in this example, as you will see on, it's essentially a one-dimensional array. So, we implement this. It's a basic to-do list app, and it has some kind of option that you can add a task, you can view the task, and then you can remove the task. So let's do it. Let's create the app. We copy this first to ChatGPT, and then after we copy and paste, he'll give you a prompt of the code. All we need to do is to copy the code and then paste it to TLJ. Okay, so before we do that, we need to create a new Python file. So the name is something like to do list dot py. Okay, so here's the code. Now the first line, we need to identify the task. So this is essentially a one-dimensional array. It's essentially dynamic, such that we can input, we can store a task, we can view it, and then we can also remove the task that we have initially inputted in the list. So let's try to go on further here. While true, in this loop, we need to define the options. As you can see, we have four options here. The first option is we need to add a task. The second option is we can view it, and then we can remove. And lastly, after we're finished, we can exit the program. Now, oh, by the way, the backslash n here means the next line. So essentially, we ask the user to input his option. So what option will he choose? Is it 1, 2, 3, and 4? And depending on his choice, we have this if else statement. Now if his choice is 1, of course, we ask him to enter a task. He must input a task, and then we try to append the task. So we just essentially add the task that is specified by the user. Now, if he choose to, then all we need to do is to print that task in order to display it, since we just want to view it. Okay. Now, if the option that is mean he chooses 3, then the task has to be removed. So we input a statement there instructing the user that he must enter the task to be removed. Whatever is the task that's contained in the list, he will remove a certain task inside the list. So the command there is to remove task. And finally, after all of it is finished, you can exit the program by choosing number 4, or that is essentially a break command. You will exit the while loop. Now, if the user will select something that is not available in the option, then you need an else statement there that will give you a statement that it is an invalid choice because it's not available in the options. Now let's try to run the program to see what will happen. Here, as I have said, we have identified the four options, okay, line by line, and then we choose an option. For example, we want to add a task, and then we enter a task that is a task A. Okay. So we try to view it. So there we have it. We have task A. Now essentially we want to add more tasks. So let's add more. So that's task B. And then let's add another one, which is task C. And then we want to view it. Essentially it's a one-dimensional array, but since we can add and replace or remove it, the task inside the list is essentially a dynamic form of array, and in this case it is one-dimensional. Now let's try to remove some tasks inside the list. Now let's choose the option 3. Now we want to remove task B, and then let's try to view it. As you can see, task B is removed. And if you want to remove task A, you see that what remains is only task C. And after that, let's try to see if it will successfully exit the loop. So we choose 4. And as expected, we exit the loop. Here, we have demonstrated the power of Python programming, specifically the concept of list. In the next projects, we will examine more of this. We will examine more of the power of Python programming as we do more projects. For now, thank you.